And now it's time for more of Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk hookup. This portion of the show is sponsored in part by Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup. Rancho Leonero, where your wildest Baja dreams come true. Maui Jim Sunglasses, the choice of the best captains. Shimano Rods and Reels, fish with the best. Shimano. And by Yamaha Outboards, official motor sponsor of Let's Talk Hookup. Here we go. Another great hour of Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's Talk Hookup. Here's Pete Gray and Rock God Rick Maxa.
Welcome back. Hour number 2, Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090. Pete Gray here. Rock God Rick Maxa is here too. And boy, we're just overwhelmed with how incredible this show is with Yani from Fisherman's Belly. Having a great time talking fishing and cooking fish. I mean, what better thing to talk about on a rainy day?
Right?
Yeah, than cooking fish right here. And Yani is a wealth of knowledge. And you look at this website, fishermansbelly.com, amazing. Just amazing.
It's so well put together, and you mentioned it first, and it is the case. It's so easy to follow.
Yeah.
So basically, if you're out there listening, you haven't jumped on it yet, I mean, you start scrolling through, and it's just these amazing photos. Clearly a very good photographer, too. Amazing photos of all these killer-looking dishes. You click on it, and every one that you click on is just a super easy link. Most all of them have a video showing you how to prepare it, and then a complete list of this is how it's done, and then all the ingredients. It's just awesome. He's done such a good job, and hats off.
Okay, which one is the favorite recipe of yours so far, Rick?
That we've talked about, or that's on the website? Because I've done quite a bit of scoping.
Yeah, I know, and I know Dallas is here too, and she's scoped it out, and she's ready to cook some stuff up.
I really like to try the first one that he just did, the most recent one that he posted, which is those Vietnamese fried lobster rolls. I think that's very cool looking.
Which is a version of what we're eating here. If you look at our website, on our Facebook page and our Instagram, you'll see the picture of it, but we're eating a version that's not fried, which is a fresh version, but that's I'll bet that was good.
So I'm big on that. And then the other one was, we just came back, Dallas and I, from Hawaii, and got to go visit, family over there for a couple days, and just, not that I wasn't a poke fan ahead of time. I mean, I always have. Poke's one of my absolute favorites, always has been, always will be. But you know how it is when you're over there, just like Yani is saying, everywhere you go, you can't go to the gas station without there being a poke bar there. Yeah. And I mean, every day, every meal, everything, and
it's not just about tuna.
No, our favorite, which I got turned on to over there, was smoked octopus poke. Oh my God, dude, it was so good.
Now, Yani being Greek, he's got some great recipes for octopus on his thing, and I don't know if you've had really well done, perfectly prepared octopus like Spanish do it a lot.
I don't think so.
Spanish, oh, my God. It's one of my favorite dishes of all time. When we did the broadcast down in Ensenada, we went to this restaurant in the Guadalupe Valley, and it's owned by a well-known Spanish chef, or Mexican chef, excuse me, a Mexican chef down there who also has a restaurant in San Diego, that it was just to die for.
Yeah.
It was like, you'd eat this, like, bring me more of this. Yeah, I mean, octopus, although it looks weird and stuff like that, can just be a fantastic meal.
So good. Now, I've had it a lot in, Baja, octopus tacos and things like that, and I love it. I'm a big fan. Calamari is one of my absolute favorite seafood, so I like that texture, taste kind of thing already, but I don't think I've ever had it that way. I mean, I've had it plenty of times in tacos, and now I've had it in poke, and I've never had it where I haven't liked it yet.
Yeah.
But I'd like to try something real deal like that sometime.
Well, I want to talk about, Yani being a kayak guy. I want to talk about the Battle of the Bays. It's coming up Saturday, May the 6th, and then Saturday, June the 10th. Saturday, May 6th is in Mission Bay. Saturday, June the 10th is going to be in Santa Monica Bay. It's all a benefit for the Coastal Conservation Association of California. $68 entry fee with a $20 side pot. It's sponsored by Fastlane and Hobie and Dana Landing, and Cedros Kayak Fishing is going to be giving away a trip. We're going to be involved. Yani said he's going to be cooking for the one at Dana Landing, which is the Mission Bay one.
So cool.
And that's going to be a lot of fun. And so lots of good stuff. So you want more information on that, you can get that on the Coastal Conservation Association of California website. Check it out and join in if you're a kayak person, and you may be able to enjoy some of Yani's incredible cooking. I might also add, be sure to check out this week's edition of Western Outdoor News, always loaded with good information. Man, how about that goat on the front page of the website.
That is a real deal one there.
That's a big one there. Yeah, you don't see a lot of those. And then, of course, some great shots of some big cows on the Red Rooster 3. Andy Cates and Captain Jack will be here next Saturday talking about all that good fishing on the Red Rooster 3. So check that out. This week's edition of Western Outdoor News, always loaded with good stuff. All right, let's go ahead and jump back into those jam-packed phone lines. They want to talk to Yanni.
Absolutely. Well, jam-packed they definitely are. Got some very patient callers. That's the case with Gus, who's calling us from Burbank this morning. Good morning, Gus. Thanks for joining us on Let's Talk Hookup.
Hey, Gus.
Yo, Pete, yo, Rick, yo, Yanni, let's eat.
Yeah, man.
There we go.
Yeah, I have never been so hungry in my life listening to you guys. It's
awesome.
Just great. What a great show.
Thanks.
Thanks, Gus.
Hey, you know, a lot of us, Let's Talk Hookup fans, have freezers full of great fish. And I know that my favorite way to defrost a fish is to take it out the night before and in the morning wrap it up in paper towels and put it on a plate in the fridge. Is there a quicker method that you like?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. In the restaurant world, before you can actually work in a restaurant and handle food, you have to go through sanitation classes. And one of the techniques that they teach you in the sanitation class, here's the inherent problem with thawing fish or proteins or any meats. If you're not careful, and back in the old days, we used to just take the meat out the night before and put it on the counter, and in the morning you'd wake up and it was thawed.
Oh.
But that's actually dangerous because the meat's not thawing out evenly. So the surface can be a prime area for bacteria to start growing and thriving, while the center
Even
of the
if it's still in a package.
Even if it's still in the package, because there's bacteria on the meat before you package it up.
Sure.
So the center to answer your question, the way the restaurant world wants you to do it and the way you can do it is simply immerse that fish or that package of frozen protein in a container of water, put it under a faucet, and drip the water constantly into that container. So you have a pot of water, you put your frozen fillets in that pot, and you turn on your faucet barely, and it drips in there. And what that dripping does is it'll cause convection currents to circulate, slow currents, around that fish as it's thawing and, of course, spilling into your sink. A typical chunk of fish, maybe 2 pounds of fish, will thaw within 2 hours.
Wow. Okay.
Absolutely.
But it needs to have that constant drip.
You just can't immerse it in a pot of water and leave it alone.
Yeah.
You need to have that drip to circulate the water and cause that water to flow, and that'll give you an even temperature distribution as it cools.
Fantastic.
Wow.
All right.
Okay.
So then when
As
you have
it
it
warms up,
thawed,
rather.
you take it out of the package, then what?
Then you can cook it and do whatever you want with it, but it's an accelerated way of defrosting your fish.
Yeah. Now, what about the method we've talked about here before of taking it out of the package and wrapping it in paper towels and thawing it in the refrigerator? That you could cause bacteria that way?
No.
Okay.
Because bacteria grow and thrive in temperatures in a temperature range from 40 degrees to 120.
Okay.
So you want to keep things colder than 40 degrees, or you want to keep things hotter than 120.
Okay.
So if you're going to take your frozen fish and you think about it the night before and you put it in your refrigerator, that's absolutely fine.
Okay.
Whether you keep it in a plastic vacuum package or you wrap it in paper or whatever you want to do with it, that's going to bring it down to 40 degrees, hopefully if your refrigerator is working properly.
Yeah.
And as long as it doesn't get warmed up above 40 degrees,
you're
in a safe zone, and that bacteria is not going to grow and multiply.
Yeah. Now, Sean at Fisherman's Processing taught me that method where you take a frozen piece of tuna and you wrap it in paper towels, and it really works. It sucks out all that moisture and kind of stuff that may be blood that it may be bathing in.
Right.
And it keeps it keeps the fish very nice.
It's funny that you talk about blood. Blood is so critical. When we catch fish, the most critical thing to do is to bleed that fish as soon as possible.
No matter what kind of fish it is.
No matter what kind of fish. And here is the basic reason why. Blood, if there's blood still in the meat of your fish, it will decompose quicker than the actual muscle of the fish, the meat itself. So let's say you don't bleed a fish properly, you cut up some fillets and you put it in the refrigerator and you want to eat them in 2 or 3 days. Normally that would be fine. But if you haven't taken a lot of that blood out, in 2 or 3 days that blood will start to decompose and your fish will be bad. You'll smell it and you'll go, oh, my fish is bad, and you'll have to throw it out. If you properly bled your fish and there isn't very much blood in that meat will stay fresher longer. That's why it's critical to remove blood.
Oh, very good.
Chris, I didn't know that.
Good stuff.
I know you're supposed to do it,
Yeah.
but I didn't know why.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
absolutely, yeah. Hey, thanks a lot for the call, Gus. Let's go ahead and jump back in the phones.
All right, how about this time we talk to John. John's calling us from West Hills this morning. Hi, John. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Wow, John
guys,
from
how
West
y'all
Hills.
doing?
Good,
John?
good.
Great. Yanni, I had a question. Now you intrigued me.
Sure.
I have just 2 questions now. One is, what are some of your favorite, I like fried fish, obviously. What are some of your favorite other breadings other than, say, panko? And then number 2, what's the best way to prepare octopus so it doesn't come out like rubber?
Wow. Those are 2 different topics. God, I grew up without panko. I didn't discover panko until I became an adult. One of my favorite breadings is merely white wine and flour, believe it or not. You get flour, you season it with salt and pepper, and you almost turn it into a paste with white wine. You take your fish, you make sure it's nice and dry, maybe even coat it with a little cornstarch or a little bit of flour, and then you put your batter on top of that. And in my particular case, the simple batter I'm talking about, is cold white wine and with salt and pepper and a little bit of flour, and that turns into a paste, and you batter up your fish that way and then cook it up.
So, but if you want the fish dry, you don't want to dip it in an egg thing or anything like that.
Well, egg is great, but no, in the beginning of the frying process, you always want to get your fish as dry as possible, and then you can coat it with your egg batter or your egg wash, or you can coat it with a little bit of flour, things that will help keep that batter on that fish. But you want to start off with as dry a piece of meat as possible, because if you've got water on it, it's just going to dilute the batter and make the whole thing a sticky mess.
And I love the idea of the white wine and flour, because got to be some great flavor.
The Italians and the Greeks figured that one out years ago.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Better than the egg wash. And then we were talking about high heat and such like that. What kind of oil are you going to fry in?
Well, extra virgin olive oil, especially if I'm going to do a Mediterranean thing, or peanut oil. But the critical thing is you got to get that temperature up. It's got to be up at between minimum of 350 all the way to 375.
So invest in a little cooking thermometer.
Absolutely.
And keep an eye on that.
Right, to help monitor your temperature. But even if you're pan frying, you've got some oil in a pan and you want to know if it's hot enough, take a little pinch of flour and throw it into that pan. If that flour starts dancing around on that oil, your oil's hot enough.
Okay, very good.
I love it.
Can it be too hot?
Yeah. It can be too hot, and then it'll cook too quick, and your crust will turn black and brown. Yeah. Your other question about octopus, so the basic problem with cephalopods, with octopus, with squid, with cuttlefish, is that they're easily overcooked and they become chewy and rubbery and people get turned off. And that was your basic question, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're talking specifically about octopus?
Yeah, sure. Or even, squid also, I guess.
Sure. But more specifically about octopus, Greeks love octopus. We love octopus in the Mediterranean. And what we do is there's a number of ways of boiling the octopus. But as we're boiling the octopus, we're using a toothpick to penetrate the meat as it's cooking to check for tenderness. And as soon as it's tender enough, and that usually takes a minimum of 45 minutes. There's a lot of different techniques of boiling it. You can literally take an octopus and put it in a pot without any water and put a lid on it, and all of a sudden it'll be full of liquid, and then that's liquid from the octopus itself. Or you can boil it with a little bit of wine or a wine cork or a little bit of water. But the key is you've got to maintain and monitor it as it's cooking. Use a toothpick, penetrate thick parts of the meat, usually thick parts of the tentacles right at the base, to figure out if that octopus is tender enough. And that's the key. You got to keep cooking it until it becomes tender. And then you stop, because octopus, just like squid, doesn't have any fat in it. So once you go beyond cooking it when it's tender, and you keep cooking it. Now you've taken all the fat out of it, and it's just dry and chewy.
Wow. So there's a recipe on your website, fishermansbelly.com, Thai fish soup, and I see some octopus on the top.
Actually, those are squid tentacles.
Oh, those are big squid tentacles.
Yeah, those are squid tentacles.
Yeah, interesting.
But yeah, you've
Same
got
kind of idea, though.
Well, with squid, especially with squid either needs to be cooked for no more than a minute or at least an hour. If you cook squid anywhere in between a minute and an hour, you're going to end up with chewy tentacles.
Interesting.
Really?
Absolutely. Huh. That's the problem. People have eaten squid and they've eaten octopus and they go, it's chewy. Well, that's because it was overcooked and it wasn't cooked properly.
Interesting.
I like that. A minute or an hour.
Minute or an hour.
You bet.
All right.
Especially with squid.
Hey, thanks a lot for the call this morning.
Hey, with that, it's time to find out what's going on the water. It's time for our FishDope.com report today with the man, your saltwater guide, Captain Dave Hansen, is on the line. And today, that report is sponsored in part by Gamakatsu Hooks, Japan's leading fish hook that sets the standard for quality and innovation. The Gamakatsu live bait hooks are the ones that help to keep your bait alive with the perfect bend that allows your bait to swim harder and longer and get you bit. They also come with a superior solid one-piece ring. Get that Gamakatsu live bait hooks at your favorite tackle store. And let's talk to the man, Captain Dave Hansen. What's up, Dave?
Hey, good morning, guys. Good morning. Hey, we've had all this weather this week and last week, and it just keeps coming and coming and coming. So we're going to go back to what we used to do a couple of years ago when we had all the weather. We're going to give you guys some tips for the next couple of weeks. And this one, I've been reading a bunch of stuff on BD Outdoors about guys having problems fishing lobsters with the California sea lions, just will not leave them alone. Nowadays, and I remember back in the day we used to use salmon heads all the time, and it's almost impossible to fish lobsters anymore if you're using salmon heads because of the California sea lion will absolutely not leave your hoop nets alone. So what we've done in the last few years is we've turned over to those tubes, the Promar sea lion-proof tubes. If you're using those, guys, you're going to avoid that problem with the California sea lion, and you're going to catch plenty of lobsters. You do not have to have a big, giant salmon head in there that attracts California sea lions to catch lobsters, but you do have to have something in there with some type of bait in it. We like to use anchovies or sardines or whatever they have at the bait barge, the freshest bait you could possibly have. And we like to put them in those tubes. And what I do is I have two sets of tubes on the boat at all times. One set goes in the hoop nets when we first get there. And maybe an hour or 2 hours later, we'll switch those tubes out with a fresh batch of tubes. And it seems to have changed the whole world for me. I have not been skunked since I started using those tubes about 3 years ago or 2 years ago. We've never had a trip where we haven't brought home lobsters. So that's my tip for this week is you must have fresh bait and you must have those tubes.
And I love the two sets, too.
Yeah, that's a great
idea because you just, at one point, you just stuff two sets and you're ready to change out after an hour. Great idea.
Yeah, and you got super fresh bait, and it's always good to have fresh bait.
You bet. Hey, and of course, FishDope.com. Dave is always active on FishDope.com, keeps Danny in touch with what's going on. Dave's on the water all the time. And $20 off a new membership to FishDope.com right now using the code HOOKUPNOW, lowercase, no space, HOOKUPNOW. And, Dave, how do we go fishing with you?
Well, there's a couple of different ways, Pete. You can call me up, and I'll go with you on your boat and teach you how to use all those cool things you got for Christmas, the new electronics, the new reels, the new rods. Or you can come with me on the 65-foot Hatteras out of Dana Point with 5 of your closest friends, and we'll go out and do whatever's biting at the time or go hooping or whatever. So just give me a call at 949-374-0786, and we'll always find a way to get you on the water. The neat thing about what's been going on lately, though, is you don't even have to leave the dock, and you're on the water all day because it's coming out of the sky.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. All right, Captain Dave Hansen, appreciate that, and we'll talk to you next Sunday.
All right, guys.
Thanks, Dave.
See you later.
All right, appreciate that very much. You know, I when I talked about Captain Andy Cates and Captain Jack, the Red Rooster, it's actually going to be next Sunday. A week from today, they'll be on the show.
Cool.
Next Saturday, a couple of great guys, Mike Cussler and Pete Giacalone from Cussler Yachts. Pete, of course, commercial fisherman and sport fisherman for years, and Mike too. Man, that guy's dialed.
Yeah.
His brother's a actually does charters for big bluefin in the Northeast, too. So he's always doing that. He grew up in the Northeast and knows that East Coast bluefin thing very, very well. So that's going to be a really good show. Mike and Pete from Cussler Yachts, the premier broker in Southern California, no doubt about it. And speaking of boat shows, don't forget, today's the last day of the Los Angeles Boat Show at the Fairplex in Pomona. Easy to get to on a rainy day. What better thing to do than to go to the boat show? They have all kinds of. The key is, like Duncan was talking about, it's a trailer boat show. So a lot of trailer boats there, in all, whether it be a fishing boat, a deck boat, bass boat,
family
whatever.
Fishing, whatever.
They have it all, and they have a lot of marine accessories and such like that. So that's going on today. Starting, the doors open at 10 o'clock this morning and goes till 6 o'clock tonight at the Fairplex in Pomona. LosAngelesBoatShow.com for more information. Let's go ahead and jump back in the phone.
You got it, man. We got, again, very patient callers. Starting this one off with Ruben. He's calling us from Echo Park this morning. Hi, Ruben. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Hi, Ruben.
Morning, Ruben.
Good morning. You guys have been talking about great fish and great fish recipes, and I got something kind of off the wall. How about barracuda?
How about it?
One of my.
Well, you know,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say one of my favorite topics, but go ahead.
Yeah, I biscuit barracuda, gill and gut it, put my vegetables, my garlic in the middle, and wrap it in foil and put it on the Barbie. But I'd like to hear from you, Yanni. What can I do with that?
Well, so have you been happy with your barracuda so far, the way you've been cooking it?
Well, my friends seem to eat it up.
Awesome. You know, the lateral line has got a little bit of a bloodline in that barracuda, but the real problem with barracuda is it's one of those fish, just like bonita. If you let that fish go on too long without cooling it down, you've got it in that fish bag and you haven't wet that fish bag and let that evaporation continually cool that fish bag off. A lot of fishermen, you know, the problem with barracuda especially, we call them slime sticks. They're slimy to begin with. But then when you put it in your fish bag on that boat and you're not taking care of it and it's sitting out in the sun and you bring it home and the meat goes mushy. Or even better yet, if you freeze it and then thaw it and the meat goes mushy. So absolutely never freeze barracuda. And number two, never let your barracuda get warm. Otherwise the meat will go mushy and that's that. And, you know, and you amplify that with the fact that they're called slime sticks. And a lot of people just consider barracuda to be, you know, trash fish. Barracuda is outstanding. In Hawaii, on the island of Molokai, during Easter, I was exposed to a needlefish that was very similar to barracuda. And over there, they simply, once they gutted it and gilled it and scaled it and cleaned it, they just chunked it up in 4 and 5 inch chunks. They put a little bit of cornstarch and flour on it and dipped it in some hot oil and fried it up. It was outstanding.
Really?
By far my favorite way of eating barracuda. You use both hands, you eat it like fried chicken, and it just tastes yummy.
Wow.
And even that little bloody lateral line is not a problem. You just go and with the skin on it and crunchy, oh, it's delicious. Wow. Fried barracuda cut up in chunks is delicious.
Kind of like they steak a salmon or something like that.
Exactly, but wide steaks.
Wide steaks.
Yeah.
Okay. Good tip.
That's
hey,
cool.
Thanks a lot for the call this morning.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, when we come back, we got more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way. More of your phone calls, more great information. You stay tuned. It's Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090.
Get it all at Dana Landing in Mission Bay. It's truly the one-stop shop for a great day on the water. Looking for a fishing charter? Dana Landing had you covered with several boats, including the new Blackjack, perfect for 2 to 4 anglers, and the Impulse that will carry up to 6 anglers in comfort and style. Dana Landing has a huge tackle shop with everything you need to go fish bay bass, tuna, or marlin, plus expert anglers on staff to help. They even have Mexican and California fishing licenses and reel repair. The deli at Dana Landing is a local's favorite with all the food, ice, and beverages you need. When it comes to freshwater tackle, East County Bait and Tackle is the spot for a great day on the lake. The ultimate in rods and reels, the latest freshwater lures, and live bait. ECBT has a staff second to none when it comes to sharing their passion for fishing. ECBT is at the end of the 67 freeway on Mapleview in Lakeside, and Dana Landing is right across from SeaWorld next to the Dana Launch Ramp in Mission Bay. Check DanaLanding.com for more details.
For decades, the Kona Kai has been considered San Diego's premier marina resort and spa. Now with millions of dollars in upgrades, the Kona Kai Resort is a destination for travelers worldwide who can live it every day. The docks and services are the finest quality in San Diego, and the Kona Kai is the closest marina to the open ocean. As a marina tenant, you enjoy many benefits, including secured free parking, a deluxe health club, swimming pool, and more. Enjoy discounts at their restaurant, bar, and hotel. If you don't have a boat, there are memberships available at a very affordable price. The Kona Kai Club has been offering members a home away from home since 1953. Members can spend their days on Kona Kai's private beach, meet new people in the club's modern lounge, share a meal with family at Bessel Restaurant and Bar, or pamper themselves in Spa Terra. Check out ResortKonakai.com on the web for more information, to reserve a slip, or inquire about joining the club. The Kona Resort, like being on vacation every day in your own backyard.
Yamaha's Choose Reliability Sales Event is on. For a limited time, purchase a new select eligible 2.5 to 300 horsepower 4-stroke outboard and receive either 2 free years of Yamaha extended service coverage or up to $1,500 in dealer credit. Reliability starts here. Yamaha. Offer ends March 31st, 2017. Subject to change at any time. Other restrictions and conditions apply. Choice offered to Florida residents is a 24-month Yamaha limited warranty. See authorized participating Yamaha outboard dealers for details. This promotion cannot be used with any other Yamaha offer.
When it comes to fishing rods for saltwater, there's just one name you need to know: CalStar. Take, for example, the Graphiter series. It's a true graphite and fiberglass composite rod, the finest it's ever been built. And for anglers seeking traditional performance, durability, and quality at an affordable price, the CalStar West Coast series of rods and blanks are the ones for you. Their master craftsmen bring decades of rod building experience to every rod they make. So if you want your fishing rods to be truly state-of-the-art, I always recommend CalStar at fine tackle stores everywhere.
This is Captain Tim Ekstrom from the long-range vessel Royal Star. With my partners Randy Toussaint and Brian Sims, we have set the bar for the long-range fishing experience. A spring 8-day, summer 5-day, or a fly-down, fly-back 11-day winter trip, we deliver the highest quality long-range voyage you will find. From our premium RSW fish storage to our top-of-the-line chefs and crew, Royal Star distinguishes itself from all others. Want to grab a spot on the Royal Star? Check us out at RoyalStarSportFishing.com or call Tracy at 619-224-4764.
This is Ron from Fast Lane Kayaking in Mission Bay. When it comes to Hobie kayaks and kayak fishing, nobody does it better than my guys at Fast Lane. Our massive 5,500 square foot location is loaded with Hobie hands-free Mirage Drive kayaks. Plus, we've got Salty Gear clothing and lots of fishing accessories for kayaks. What makes our location special is we offer free demo rides. You can come down and try before you buy. Take a new Hobie Eclipse out on the water, Mirage Drive kayak, or stand-up paddleboard. We want you to find your fun on the water. A family-owned and operated for almost 4 decades at Dana Landing across from SeaWorld on Mission Bay. Check out FastLaneKayaking.com.
XEPRS 1090 AM, Rosarito, Baja California.
The best coverage of the NFL playoffs and Super Bowl 51 is right here. Incredible! San Diego's sports leader, the Mighty 1090.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090. Phone lines are absolutely packed up. Everybody's so excited to talk to Yani. This has been so much fun, man.
Now, here's the problem is we've had so many questions and getting so many answers from Yani. It's like, trying to get the questions in for the callers. But be patient. We're going to do our best to get to you. But before we do, we were talking in the break about shopping and your cuisine being catered toward Southern California anglers.
Absolutely.
And what you can buy right here.
Absolutely.
So you were talking about like the lobster roll that you brought in has a particular pepper in there. It looks hot because it's bright red,
right?
But it's pretty mild,
right?
And it's perfect for the sauce that you made. So talk about peppers and things like that.
Well, sure. I find myself shopping in 3 different kinds of markets. I go to American markets, Stater Brothers, Vons, Ralph's. I'll go to Mexican markets. And then I end up like El Super, and then I end up going to Asian markets like Ranch 99. And so when I want to make Latin cuisine, a Mexican dish, I'll go to my Mexican market and I'll go get the things that I need from there. Or if I'm going to make an Asian dish, I'll run to Ranch 99. So it just seems like here in SoCal, I grew up eating Greek food, which I fell in love with. Then, of course, I was exposed to American food in a cafeterias going to school. And then, after college, I started experimenting in eating Asian foods and Mexican foods. And now that I want to make those foods, I run to those markets to get those ingredients so I get the most authentic food. And they're convenient. They're right there.
So if you're going to cook Mexican, you go to a Mexican market. You're going to cook Asian, you go to an Asian market. It makes sense.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But everything's available at the local market too. It's just maybe not to the finite detail.
Limited, right?
Yeah.
And then, I'll run into Mexican people in the Mexican markets and talk with them, and everyone likes to talk recipes and how they cook foods, and the same with Asian markets.
Yeah.
So, it's a little cultural exchange, and it's great.
Like if we were talking about paella before, and going to a Spanish restaurant or market that has the proper, is it aboro rice?
Aboro rice, medium-sized rice, absolutely.
And the proper, the saffron. And
the saffron and the good Spanish olive oils. Absolutely. If you can go to an ethnic market, it's fun to pick a recipe that you want to cook, whether it's fish or meat or whatever it is. Plan it out, go to that market, and go expose yourself to that world.
And it's fun to go shopping in those markets.
It is. It totally is.
Yeah. You get a whole new world.
Yeah.
It's like, check this. Like going into Ranch 99.
I love it.
Whoa, check this place out. Right?
Sometimes it might be hard to find someone who can speak into English to you, but that's part of the fun, too.
Yeah, totally it is.
Absolutely. No kidding. They still take U.S. dollars.
Yeah, no kidding.
Let's go ahead and jump into the phone.
Well, phones are absolutely packed up. Everybody's so excited to talk to Yani. So we're going to jump right back into the phones. This time, we're going to talk to Brian. He's calling us from Poway. Hey, Brian, welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Hey, Brian, thanks for hanging in there.
Hi, guys. I just wanted to give a testimonial to what I thought was the most sacrilegious term I'd ever heard, and that was microwaving a lobster.
Oh, my God.
I was fortunate enough to get a limit the first couple of nights of the season opener. I was running late on time one day, and I'd read Fisherman's Belly, the recipe for microwaving a lobster. I tried it. It is the only way I will do it now, and there's no cleanup, and the lobster comes out succulent, juicy, perfect every time. But when I tell people I'm doing it, they still want to run to the hills. But it is the only
so just
way
don't
to
tell
do
them,
it.
right?
Don't tell them.
Do it, but don't tell them.
It's perfect.
Brian, I'm glad to hear that. So it saves you a lot of time and energy, and there's a bunch of things you can do with it once you microwave it.
Absolutely. It's fantastic. I love your site. Keep them coming, a recipe a week. I know that's got to be a challenge, but it's certainly great for us guys that follow you regularly.
I couldn't agree more, man. I love it. I think it's such a cool website. And I encourage you out there that are listening to scope it out, too, because it's so easy to follow and well done, and you did an awesome job.
And videos on almost every recipe.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Yeah, I go through tutorials,
Even microwaving lobster. Because there's a lot of cooking basics that people need to know, And once you master the basics, it gives you the confidence to start branching out and expanding the boundaries of your culinary world. Okay. And your gastronomical world. And by the way, is this the Brian that has the current IGFA record on white sea bass? All tackle?
Well, that might be, and I will also say that I took that white sea bass, and it was about a year ago today that I caught it. And
how big was it?
74.2.
Oh, my God.
74.2. That was the one you caught on your kayak we had on the website.
That's correct.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
And as we come towards Valentine's Day, the recipe for that white sea bass was that parchment paper.
Oh, the papio.
Attaboy.
And it is, don't take your girlfriend or wife out to a fancy restaurant. Cook her that, and she will be so impressed. I guarantee there'll be a special surprise in it for you later that night.
Oh, my.
Attaboy, Brian.
Hi, Brian.
All right, Brian. Oh, my God.
That's great.
That's
cool. Oh, my God.
Go ahead and jump into the phone.
Thanks, Brian.
You got it, man. All right, how about we jump back in? This time we're going to talk to Keith. He's calling us from Mission Viejo this morning. Hi, Keith. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Thanks
hey, Keith.
Yeah, good morning, Pete, Rick, Yani. Yani, my question is albacore bellies. How would you cook those?
Oh, my God. That's a whole different topic right there. Listen, any belly meat on any animal is going to be super tender and super juicy, and it's got a lot of fat interwoven in there, and it is a muscle that does not get used very much. It's just, and as a result, it's like a filet mignon. It is so juicy and tender. The key is you have to know how to prepare that belly, be able to strip the inner lining off that belly, that peritoneal cavity that's stuck to that, get those rib bones out of that belly without destroying the belly, and skin the belly without destroying it. And once you've got that belly, you can do so many things. Smoke it, fry it, boil it, bake it, grill it, sear it. Belly meat is incredible. Incredible.
So how do you prepare it? What's the best way to get that peritoneal cavity off there?
Well, you know what I have found, that once you get the belly section off, I cut the rib bones. When I want a belly, I will cut through those rib bones and have those rib bones still in the belly. I don't try and strip those rib bones and try to strip that meat away from those rib bones all at one time. A lot of people will just even cut it out and throw it away. So I'll leave those rib bones in there. And then one by one, I will run a very sharp paring knife along every rib bone on each side and strip away that rib bone very carefully out of that belly. And when you do that, you're also breaking that inner lining, and then it's easy to strip that inner lining off. So once you take the rib bones out, that inner lining will come. There won't be very much of that inner lining. It'll come off as well with a little bit of effort. And now you've got a perfect piece of belly that's just waiting for you to do whatever you want to do with it.
Sounds so
Absolutely.
Good. Yeah. And so many bellies get thrown away. Like yellowtail collars. Do you do yellowtail collars?
Oh, are you kidding? I would never throw away, not even a yellowtail head, let alone a yellowtail.
Really? Okay. Now, is there a recipe on Fisherman's Belly for yellowtail?
Yes.
Collar.
I've got two different collar recipes, and I also have a yellowtail head recipe.
Really?
You bet. With a yellowtail head goes right on the grill.
Now, what I was going to say, what is it? Tell us about that. What's the yellowtail head? I've
never. Yeah, I've done bellies.
I've thrown away a whole bunch of them. What am I screwing up here, Yanni?
As a Greek kid, I grew up eating fish heads, and it was starting off with sardines and anchovies. I mean, when my mom fried up sardines and anchovies, she would just gut them and maybe gill them and scale them a little bit, but we ate the heads, the tails, the bones, everything.
Wow.
And ask any Chinaman. The flavor is in the head. When you start eating a fish, you start with the head. Yellowtail heads, once you strip a yellowtail head off of its body, you can literally cut that yellowtail head in half.
Okay.
So now you have two halves. Lather it up with some olive oil, some lemon, a little salt and pepper. Put it on the grill and put it in front of your plate. The eyeballs are absolutely delicious. When you put an eyeball in your mouth, you will have nothing but pure ocean flavor in your mouth. And there's a little bit of a skeletal shell that you take out and spit out. But the flavor of the eyeball is insane. And then there's pockets of meat all around the head.
Like the cheeks on a lot of fish.
And it's full of gelatinous, yummy it makes your tongue stick to the top of the roof of your mouth.
It can't be a Greek thing, because Maria's just kind of going, no.
I draw the line.
Yeah.
And if you're not adventurous enough to take a head and split it in half and put it on the grill and try it that way, then take your head and put it in a pot of water and make some fish stock with it.
Yeah.
There's so much flavor in heads.
Yeah. No, good point.
Absolutely.
I remember, you probably do when we did the Campo San Nicolas trips out of Loreto.
Oh, man.
And we'd co-catch a yellowtail, and the guys at the camp used to cut the yellowtail in half, minus the head. Maybe they've screwed up.
Yeah.
There. And then bake it on a wood-fired grill in foil. And with all kinds of different Mexican peppers and spices and onions and things like that.
Sure.
And then they put it out in the middle of the table and everybody gorged on it. It was it was unreal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if there were a bunch of Greeks, they would protest because the head is gone.
The head's gone. Yeah.
and if the head was there, then there'd be a riot and everyone would be running for the head.
That's so funny.
That's cool.
Hey, thanks a lot for the call this morning.
All right.
Thank you.
We're going to jump right back in. This time talking to Kevin, who's calling us from Pacific Beach. Good morning, Kevin. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Kevin?
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Hey, Kevin.
My question is back to the sculpin thing. I've always made stock from rockfish and any kind of huachinango from Mexico. Do you still have to be concerned about the spines, and does that reflect in the water at all? And my second thing is, I've always been fishing Baja for most of my life, and you always have the captain of the boat begging you to get like your big lingcod or huachinango of any variety, and they just want to take it home and stuff the fish and wrap it in foil with vegetables. That's like their favorite way to eat fish. Do you have one of those recipes on your website?
Getting to your second question, no, I have a grill hold fish called Campground Trout, and it's a basic blueprint for grilling any whole fish. But I don't have a recipe yet where I've stuffed. You can stuff the cavity of a fish with herbs and slices of lemon or orange and stuff, and then if you get creative, you can actually stuff the cavity of a fish with other fish and maybe even crab. Mm-hmm. And if you get real adventurous, you can try and cook it like a triduncan, where you cook the whole thing all in one continuous cook. So there's a lot of different stuffings that you can put in whole fish. The simple stuffings are just some herbs and a slice of lemon or a slice of orange.
So now, what about the spines? Yes. The California scorpion fish or sculpin, they have poisonous spines.
So here's what happens.
You'd be concerned about that when
that fish dies, that poison denatures.
Okay.
And it becomes inert.
Okay.
So after the fish is dead, even for a couple minutes, you can touch those spines and you will not get poisoned. So and that's the case, obviously, once you cook it.
Yeah.
So after it dies, the poison denatures, but especially if you cook it. So
but
there's
be cautious.
No danger.
It may look dead, and it's not dead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I got a lot of...
I like cutting them off, just getting rid of those spines.
Yeah. Just to be safe. But
no,
absolutely.
Just one of those fish that stay alive.
Yeah, that poison is not... You don't have to worry about it. It's nothing to be concerned about. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, very good. Thanks a lot for the call.
Yeah, it's not like a puffer fish where there's danger all over the place.
Oh, okay. You eat pufferfish?
I haven't eaten pufferfish, but I know about pufferfish, and you have to be licensed to be able to prepare pufferfish and serve it to your customers.
Wasn't there a Simpsons episode about that?
Probably.
I know Big Tuna love eating pufferfish.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah, for sure.
I like eating big tuna.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, thanks a lot for the call this morning.
John and Mira Mesa, you got an interesting question. Good morning, John. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, I wish you had time for 10 questions, but a lot of times I like to can a raw pack of my tuna mason jars, and can it. And I don't do anything other than add a little salt and jalapeno. But is there something else you can recommend to just impart other flavors to the tuna?
So you're talking about you want some ideas how to handle your canned tuna that you've processed.
Like adding, like a lot of people add jalapenos, or they add basil or olive oil base or whatever.
Next time you make a salad at home, throw some of that tuna in that salad. That's a great idea. And just think of all the different varieties of salads that you eat at home.
I think one of the things he was curious is, like in the process of canning, taking his raw tuna, putting it in the jar, is there any flavor to add to that at the canning process, so that then when he puts it in a salad, he's got that flavor imparted into it?
Oh, okay. Now I get you. Absolutely. Just think about all the different flavors that people add when they pickle vegetables, or they'll pickle or they'll can fish, garlic, different types of herbs, different types of spices. Some instead of cilantro, you can use coriander, the seeds. Or instead of any variety of herbs,
like we were talking about the saffron with the Spanish.
You can use saffron, any herbs or spices or seeds that are associated with those herbs. You can certainly add into that canning process, and it'll slowly infuse flavors. Remember that oil and water, they're nothing more than conductors of flavors. Flavors need a conductor: air, alcohol, water, oil, and once those flavors hit those conductors, then that flavor diffuses all throughout your fish and all throughout your foods. Yeah. So use a bunch of different flavors. Black pepper, there's another flavor that'll be conducted through that oil in the canning process.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. And awesome. Does it matter how much you put in, or you just want to put just a little bit?
It's all a matter of experimentation, and it's all a matter of your own personal taste. Do you like strong flavors, or do you like mild flavors?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Gosh, so much,
yeah.
You've got the answers at fishermansbelly.com, so there you go.
There you go.
Thanks a lot for the call.
Hey, when we come back, we're going to find out who's got themselves a brand new pair of Maui Jim sunglasses. The World Cups we're giving away when we return. There's more Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090.
Want to catch the yellowfin tuna of a lifetime but don't have weeks at a time to commit trying? Then check out Journeyman Sport Fishing in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Based in Nuevo Vallarta, Journeyman offers an angling dream come true. Outstanding world-class fishery, immaculately maintained and outfitted boat, ultra-limited competition at the rail, and a journeyman crew that has the experience and passion to make your angling dreams reality. A 2 1/2 day trip offers 2 full days of fishing from sunup to sundown and only requires 4 days away from your other commitments. In the 2013 season, Journeyman landed dozens of yellowfin over 200 pounds and several over 300. Choose the trip that fits your schedule. 2 1/2, 3 1/2, up to 8 days of the ultimate fishing for giant yellowfin tuna. For complete details, check the web at journeymansportfishing.com or contact 619-571-1979. Journeyman Sport Fishing, where angling dreams become reality. Fifth Avenue Insurance has a new name. It's Snap Insurance, still providing anglers and boaters with the best in boat insurance and the lowest rates. The experts at Snap Insurance will make sure your boat and property are covered right. Traveling to Mexico? Snap has you covered. You can even work with your agent to wrap your home and auto with your boat policy to save even more. Call them for advice on your current boat policy or any of your insurance needs. Snap Insurance, 800-527-6617 or snapins.com. That's SNAPPINS.com.
This is Captain Art Taylor. I'd like to invite you aboard Searcher for your next fishing vacation. Enjoy our air-conditioned cabins and galley, new improved bait tank, RSW system to preserve your catch, delicious food prepared by chefs Charlie and Dan, and a fantastic crew. Our 2017 schedule is available now. Book your reservation online at searchersportfishing.com or call Celia at 619-226-2403. That's 619-226-2403.
Great boats, free parking, and a fully stocked tackle shop. Just a few of the reasons Seaforth Sport Fishing is a favorite among anglers. Come aboard top charter boats like the Aztec, Cortez, Endeavor, Eclipse, Apollo, Outer Limits, Pacific Star, El Gato Dos, Alexis, Pride, Privateer, Tribute, Pacific Voyager, and the Voyager. Plus, the new Seaforth Sea Watch in San Diego offer the finest half, 3/4, and full-day trips available. Check out the full-service tackle store at Seaforth Sport Fishing, and it's all run by fishermen for fishermen. 1717 Quivira Road, just off Mission Bay Drive in Mission Bay. Book online at seaforthlanding.com.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090. Right, the brand new winner of a pair of Maui Jim World Cups is going to Kevin in Pacific Beach. Kevin, congratulations. You are so stoked with those new Maui Jims.
Yeah, you're
all right, Kevin.
Yeah, the HTs, the Maui Jims, awesome. Yani, unbelievable. I was just, like Ricky and I said, I'm blown away at the response from our listeners, and obviously the lines are still full. They want more, so we've got to have you back. Okay?
Awesome.
Okay.
I love it. Thank you.
So in the meantime, people can tune into your recipes 7/24 at fishermansbelly.com, right?
Fishermansbelly.com. Absolutely. Yeah. We try and keep current with what is going on today in Southern California in terms of our fish. Right now we're catching sand bass, a lot of sculpin. There's some halibut getting caught. So you'll see those kind of recipes coming up on my website really soon.
Yeah, fantastic. And you wanted to shout out to a few friends?
I've got some hardcore anglers from the Valley. Tony's celebrating his birthday today. Mo's out there. Real hardcore anglers that wake up at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. They drive their butts all the way to San Diego. I've got Michelle Gondola.
At BD Outdoors.
At BD Outdoors. So we love you guys to death for helping us so much. My sponsors, OEX and Kayak Fishing Supplies. Without those guys, I wouldn't be where I was today.
Wow.
And especially to my fishing buddies and for calling in and listening in today. Thank you guys. I love you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Yanni. Thanks for thanks for that beautiful breakfast you brought us this morning.
So killer,
lobster and all those great recipes. I know. Check it out, fishermansbelly.com, and you can stay in touch. You respond to people, too, which is great.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, email me your questions, and I'll get back with you as soon as I can.
Fantastic. All right, well, next week
Thanks,
on
you guys.
Let's Talk Hookup,
Thanks.
Mike Cussler, Pete Giacalone from Cussler Yachts going to be right here in the Mighty 1090 studios, and next Sunday, Captain Andy Cates and Captain Jack will be here from the Red Rooster 3. Thanks for listening today. Have a great weekend. Stay safe and warm, and we'll see you next week right back here on the Mighty 1090. And thanks to Steve.